everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Danny Moran. We are still at Reser Stadium following Oregon State's 42-17 win over Arizona on Saturday night. But let's spin things forward a little bit because now it's officially Civil War week. We have barely even gotten through this game, but let's already talk about the big rivalry matchup. Of course, Oregon State coming off this win, Oregon coming off a huge upset in Salt Lake City over Utah. So just what's your quick assessment of this game? Because it looks like a pretty intriguing matchup, maybe not nationally, but for both of these two programs and for the state overall, this is an interesting game.
Yeah, it's really the first time in a couple years that Oregon State is probably going to go in knowing that it has a legitimate chance, given kind of the heights that Oregon has gone to. I mean, obviously there have been years in the recent past, kind of the middle of Mike Riley's tenure where Oregon State was pretty good, either contending for a Rose Bowl or an upper echelon spot in the Pac-12, but particularly coming off last year when Oregon State really bottomed out as a program is what it felt like. For the Ducks to be guaranteed a losing season, it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I think the key is just how well Oregon State played offensively. I think they're going to need that from both Ryan Nall and the receivers from Marcus McMaryion. Oregon's obviously struggled defensively, despite today against Utah playing pretty well. But Oregon's going to be able to move the ball. I mean, even with Justin Herbert, Royce Freeman, they've got a lot of weapons. So I think Oregon State's defense is going to be in for a challenge, and so it's going to be up to the offense to try to keep pace with Oregon, which in the second half last year they were able to do. But they dug a 31-7 hole at halftime and weren't able to kind of come out of that.
Right. Of course, Ryan Nall had his breakout game of his career against the Ducks last year. He returned from his foot injury tonight against Arizona. Really nice game, sort of pacing this offense, and Gary Anderson was pretty upfront about saying that this offense is quite different when Ryan Nall is in there. And of course, Marcus McMaryion made his first career start against the Ducks last year, and he's really coming off obviously his best game of his career, the first time that an Oregon State quarterback has passed for 5 touchdowns since Sean Mannion in 2013. So he's, in the past couple games, he's played a lot better, and as a result, this offense has played a lot better.
He's really settled in, and I think the impressive thing too, I mean, the team didn't have Seth Collins tonight, who's been their second leading receiver, a pretty versatile weapon that defenses have really had to account for, whether it's in the Wildcat, different aspects like that. And for a good portion of this game, they didn't have Victor Bolden either. So for guys like Timmy Hernandez, Jordan Villeman to step up in the way that they did, it's really necessary at this point because Oregon State's just thin at so many different positions.
Right. And of course, we will keep you updated on Seth Collins' condition as the weeks go by, as the days go by. But we don't have any new information. He's still in good condition at the hospital, at least as at the time that we're recording this. But I'd be shocked if he was able to play on Saturday. I think you can pretty much rule him out, even though it's not official yet. But like you said, I think that one of the biggest things that happened tonight, at least against Arizona, is that you mentioned Timmy Hernandez had a nice diving touchdown. Jordan Villeman had his best game of the season and kind of made you go, where's this been all year? Trayvon Bradford even got in there and got his first career touchdown. So the receiving core as a collective unit stepped up for sure.
Right. It's situation too where that's so necessary. Oregon, from a talent perspective, may have the advantage. Their effort sometimes has been called into question. For Oregon State, that's never really been the case. No. And I think you saw that tonight against Arizona. It was a really hungry team because it's they've just been beaten down so often
and so close in a lot of these games
it really, you saw that release a little bit tonight with a team that they had down, and they were able to actually kind of make sure they stayed down, which is an issue they had against Washington State earlier in the year. So can they carry that over? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, well, no Oregon State player or coach for that matter, maybe Brent Brennan has maybe beaten the Ducks, but no Oregon State player and nobody that's new from Gary Anderson's coaching staff has beaten the Ducks so far in their careers, and we'll see if they're able to do that next week here in Corvallis at Reser Stadium. But until then, we will have all of your coverage leading up to the game on OregonLive.com and in the Oregonian every single day, so keep it locked right here. So for Danny Moran, I am Gina Mizell. We will catch you next time.